And the crowd fired up for this one. They're averaging 18,559 at the Tampa Bay Times Forum. Tonight's starting goalies brought to you by your local New England Audi dealers. Experience Audi Quattro all-wheel drive today. Tuukka Rask, unreal numbers against Tampa Bay this season. 3-0, a .988 save percentage, 0.33 goals against average, and a couple of shutouts. UMaine Ornos, Ben Bishop at the other end of the ice, 15-3-2 at home, but one of those defeats was when the Bruins chased him in less than 2 periods of play, scoring 4 goals against him that night. Kind of weird to look down and not see Marty St. Louis on the ice for Tampa Bay. The game is on. The Bruins look to do pretty much what they did against Washington, Brick.
Yeah, and that's really smother your opponent. You want that real good back pressure. It allows the D to really control the game in the neutral zone, stand up at their blue line, and they want to manage the puck well, minimize the turnovers, make good breakout passes, and roll their 4 lines and play that balanced attack.
As Chris Kelly told Jamie Erdahl before the game, move their feet. That's where it begins. David Krejci back to Zdeno Chara. Teddy Purcell, the front man for Tampa Bay. Chara's pass goes through a pile of bodies. Bishop out of his goal, plays it all the way to the Boston line. Kevin Miller, D-to-D to Matt Bartkowski, and Purcell's right in his face. Here comes Stamkos on the backhand, and he sizzles it wide on the glove side. Tough for Tuukka Rask to know where that puck was coming from.
Bartkowski fanning on that play, Jack. He was just trying to go up the boards into the neutral zone. Really didn't have a target in mind, but he misplayed it, and that allowed Stamkos to make the move to the back end. One thing they said about Stamkos the other night, he was moving well, he was getting to the scoring areas, but he missed the net more often, and that's just the rust from missing 45 games.
Victor Hedman paired with Sammy Salo, and here comes Valtteri Filppula, who will turn 30 in about 10 days. Brad Marchand gets tripped over Hedman's stick. Penalty coming up against Tampa Bay. And with possession for the Lightning, Hedman goes to the box just a minute 38 into the game.
And there's those layers in the neutral zone. The back check. Riley Smith able to come back through the middle of the neutral zone and then quickly turn this puck back in the offensive direction. Marchand forces the play to the middle. Smith is there with the layer. And then the quick transition, defense to offense. Marchand has a chance to get around Hedman. Hedman stick into the skates of Marchand, and the Bruins with an early power play.
Bruins power play brought to you by Mazda. The Bruins 0 for 8 in the season series against Tampa Bay. And Johnson playing without a stick. Bergeron's shot deflects and comes back past the near side post. Riley Smith does a good job to keep the puck in the attacking zone, and that leaves Johnson stranded. Now he has to race to the Tampa Bay bench. Bergeron hops on the puck, sends it through to Louis Eriksson. Eriksson off Andre Palat's stick. Eriksson absorbs a shove from Sammy Salo, who sends it back to Bishop behind the Tampa Bay goal. Johnson winds up, and the rookie cracks one 200 feet off the board.
That deflected pass by Patrice Bergeron, trying to go one side of the ice to the other, deflected. Soderberg just couldn't find it. Had an open net if he could have located it.
Dougie Hamilton, the 100-foot pass up to Eriksson to Soderberg. Eriksson and Soderberg have wonderful chemistry. It's really come together lately. This puck goes out of play for the moment.
Yeah, and there is something to that Swedish trained guys that played their youth hockey and before they came over and became professionals in the National Hockey League, just the way they were taught the game, see the game, react to the game, and there is that innate chemistry between the two of them.
Filppula and Krejci on the draw. Brewer hammers the puck off the boards, and Krug will go back to pick it up. It's Torey Krug, David Krejci out high. Milan Lucic and Jerome McGinley swing to the opposite wings with Chara already at the attacking line. Into the zone, it's Krejci looking for the shot. Brewer taps it away from him. Lucic backhands the puck around through the corner. Chara pinches down to give Ryan Callahan, the former Rangers captain, a little trouble, but Callahan fights through it and clears.
That's what Callahan gives you right there. He's not the same type of player Marty St. Louis is, but he's a terrific player in his own right, and he has the battle factor extremely high.
Aren't too many players who have better grit than Ryan Callahan. Nate Thompson Sends it forward to Tom Pyatt. Krug blocks his shot. The Bruins a little discombobulated on the penalty kill. Salo's bomb up off the left shoulder. Tries again, another one off the same spot for Tuukka Rask. That'll be an ice bag after the game.
A quick turnover by Boston, and that puck scooted past Rask on the short side, allowed Salo not one but two, followed up his own rebound. Two bombs, try to go short side high.
And he has got one too. Tremendous shot. Bruins with 0 shots on goal during the power play.
Well, it was a heads-up play by Nate Thompson that started this opportunity. He knows he has David Krejci trying to defend here in this situation. And even though Bruins make a nice play by Torrey Krug to deflect that shot, this puck just scoots right past the blade of the stick of Tuukka Rask. And Salo, first shot, second one from a bad angle, but both between the posts. And Rask had to get them both with that left shoulder.
Alex Killorn, Hobbit man, brings it forward. Bartkowski slows him down. Killorn's shot right into the gut of Tuukka Rask.
And the Lightning trying to follow up a quality penalty kill with some offensive pressure. They get that pressure. The 2 shots by Sal at the tail end of that penalty killing situation where it got back to 5-on-5. And then the Stamkos line comes right out, and Killorn gets a pretty good opportunity.
John Cooper has convinced the Tampa Bay Lightning that it can win. A team that really has had its struggles, but even in the face of losing Stamkos, and now after trading away their captain Marty St. Louis, the belief is there. The buy-in is complete. Keith Aulie tries a shot. Stick saved by Rask. Thornton against Palat. Well, what we're seeing from Tampa Bay is the desperation of a 7 seed. Sean Thornton brings it up ice. Bishop sticks the puck off the glass. Paet's pass comes off Callahan. Krug goes cross corner with it. The Bruins have to tag up, get it onside, and they'll just make a change here as the Bergeron line comes over the boards. The wings, Riley Smith and Brad Marchand. Here comes Steven Stamkos. Gives it back to Hedman. Hedman up, redirected off Killorn's stick. Chara taps the backhand to Kevin Miller. Picked off Killorn. Miller ties up Stamkos, and here comes Marchand. Tries the self-pass, darts around Brewer, but Michael Koska, the UMass product, who you might remember from his days with Toronto, picks it off. Killorn off the boards. Stamkos can't track down the cross-ice pass. Chara slings it around through the corner, and the Bruins will change their forwards and their D pair, make it a 5-skater chain. Hanik backhands the puck off the boards. Krug to Miller. Back to Krug. Looks to the attacking line. Nothing there. Miller. Indirect for Lucic. Lucic against Matt Carl. Back to Iginla. Interesting angle from Milan Lucic. Iginla was a step closer to goal than Lucic thought he would be.
Yeah, the higher in the slot might have been the best area for Iginla, and it was a good idea by Lucic on the backhand.
There's Krejci, the backhand pass to Iginla. He flips the puck off the kick plate on the end boards. Lucic, unopposed, goes right through there. Barbary bouncing off Krejci. He rolls it around through the corner to Miller. Comes off the boards, goes intentionally wide. It hits glass, not boards, so it doesn't bounce in front. Johnson gets the puck forward. A good read from Miller coming across the line. Lucic can't get it through 3 layers, and Matt Carl skates it out to Johnson. Tyler Johnson cuts to his right as Tampa Bay's in a change. Takes the shot off the blocker's shoulder of Rask. Tampa Bay aiming high on Tuukka Rask early in the game as Rask has gone down in the butterfly.
Tyler Johnson, one of those guys that you're talking about when you're saying that John Cooper has convinced these guys that they can win. He's a good young player and played really well in the absence of Stamkos.
Really confident in his skills as well. He's one of those undersized guys who's had to prove himself to people throughout his career, yet he has scored at every level, including in the NHL, where he's going to get a lot of attention when it comes time to vote for the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year. Soderberg flips it up to the line, but not out. There's Callahan raising the bar with his effort. Soderberg flicks it forward. It goes past Kelly and the length of the rink.
Real good shift by the Lightning, hemming the Bruins in their own zone. Bruins trying to go D to D. The Lightning with an aggressive 2-man forecheck, pinching defenseman when the pinch is right and keeping the Bruins bottled up in their own end.
Bruins without a shot on goal in the first 7 minutes of this game. Stamkos, Purcell, and Killorn with Koska and Carl, who has the puck. Carl off Soderberg. Killorn centered out. It hops up on Koska. He goes D to D. Matt Carl, the alternate captain, up to Alex Killorn. He pivots it in behind Rask. Matt Bartkowski hard around. There's Bergeron to pick up Marchand's back pass. Marchand tries the self pass, and Carl just plays the body and stands him up at the blue line. Long pass up ahead for Stamkos, comes off his stick. Hamilton, the touch pass to Marchand. Tries to go across the ice to Riley Smith. Interesting idea, as if Smith had picked up that puck, he was going to have some good space. Killorn flips it forward. Tom Pyatt hits the brakes in the corner. Chara with a monster sweep takes it off his stick. Thornton can't control the bouncing puck in the neutral zone. Keith Aulie rips it around off glass. Tampa Bay skating 7 defensemen tonight.
Yeah, you probably call a number of different combinations, and here's one right here.
We're going to call a fight right here. Sean Thornton and Keith Aulie ready to go. Aulie a little off balance. Thornton giving up inches and reach. Aulie under and over. He knocks Thornton's helmet off. Thornton a couple of lefts. Thornton goes uppercut. Starts landing damaging blows. Now Aulie rallies a couple of shots to the body. Terrific exchange early in this fight. Aulie engaged. Thornton goes for the hold. Goes for the left. Thornton can fight conventional or southpaw. Now he ties up Aulie. Aulie with the reach, but Thornton ducks away from it. Turns, forces him back. You can see the effort from Aulie. He's at the end of the tank. Really good bout. Probably Thornton with a slight edge there. Sean Thornton trying to energize the Bruins, who still don't have a shot on goal in the first 8 minutes.
No score. Bruins Lightning. Bruins right in the middle of a line change. Sean Thornton steps on the ice, finishes his check on Aulie. The two of them have a little exchange, and off came the gloves. Aulie got a couple rights in early, popped the helmet off Sean Thornton, and then Thornton came back real strong, giving away height and reach, but not technique. And one of the benefits, Jack, you mentioned the 7 defensemen.
Yeah.
For the Tampa Bay Lightning, they can afford. They still have 6 now, even with Aulie in the box.
Yep. Nobody misses a rotation. Chara gets knocked down in the corner. Pyatt rescues the puck, sends it around. Gregory Campbell pops it up. The Brewers' shot doesn't get all the way through now. Ryan Callahan back in the goal, right in front, looking for Filppula, and it drifts the length of the rink.
Go ahead.
Valtteri Filppula, the ex-Red Wing, into the skates of Barbary, who had a pretty rough go in the season opener at TD Garden. Filppula flips it back. Mark Barbary ahead to Andre Palat. He risks a bouncer off the boards. It kicks up in the air. Tampa Bay in the middle of a change. Pyatt has the puck stuck along the boards. Purcell backhands it right to Eriksson. Chips it into space. Pyatt with an explosion of speed against Salo, who lines him up. Salo ties up Pyatt, and the second layer is Hedman. Stamkos at the edge of his reach now to Purcell, working against Chara, who takes away the space. Purcell's shot tipped off Chara's stick, and it goes wide. Iginla brings it up ice, pokes it around. Salo dances down the boards, and Lucic beats him into the puck. Centering pass comes off Salo's skate. Now Stamkos works it the other way on Dougie Hamilton's side. Off Hamilton's stick and into the Boston bench. Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. On Thursday, Steven Stamkos was named the 10th captain in Lightning history. Well, you see who the captains were, and you may note that Vinny Lecavalier was captain twice. As John Tortorella thought it was a bit too much of a burden.
A few Bruins, ex-Bruins on that list.
Yes, indeed. A lot of affection for Boston players, and in fact, Bob Beers, who was here in the first year of the franchise, still gets recognized on the street. Panik's shot tipped by J.T. Brown in front, and Rask makes the stop. Tampa Bay coming off a 3-1 home loss to Buffalo on Thursday night, and J.T. Brown could have changed the entire context of that game because he rang one off the post on a right-wing rush about a minute and a half into the game. Here is Brown on the off-wing cross ice. Panik shot. What a save by Rask. Tuukka Rask anticipating and getting the old flipper out there and kicking it out with the left pad.
Well, the Bruins try to get a forecheck going. David Krejci and Iginla, but Iginla fell down and Krejci was deep. Lucic initially made a nice back check in the neutral zone, but Lightning stayed with it. And what an opportunity on the one-timer. Rask deep in his net, gets it with the pad.
Here's Stamkos, gives it off to Thompson, curls and drags, but can't finish it off. Now, the Bruins try to catch the Lightning on the wrong side of the puck, but Kelly can't get it cleanly past Barbary. Kelly bumps hard into Brewer. Stamkos at the hash marks, goes cross ice in and out of the skates of Pyatt. Boychuk stands him up. Eriksson over the line. Kelly straddled the line nicely, but Thompson takes possession back. More than halfway through the first period, Bruins do not have a shot on goal.
And they've had a power play.
Louis Eriksson shoves the puck out of the corner. Kelly, airborne. Soderberg knocks it down. Pyatt. The battle is joined now. The Bruins are trying to raise their game, getting a little zone time here, and trying to manufacture an opportunity. Eriksson pokes it up the wall. Soderberg loses to Stamkos. Now Thompson draws it wide, flips the puck past Hamilton, who stays body on body, so Eriksson can come back and get it.
A good angle by Dougie Hamilton. Good force and good footwork to avoid any kind of interference penalty.
Bergeron and Smith swinging right. Bergeron takes the pass in his skates, darts the pass just beyond Smith's reach. Filppula hits the brakes, centering pass. Smith intercepts, off to the races with Marchand, 2-on-2. They crisscross. Here's the pass for Marchand, just past his reach. Marchand in the corner against Salo. It comes off the stick of Palat, and the Bruins dump back in.
Bruins passing, Jack, just off by a hair in a number of instances, whether it's passes through the neutral zone, but more particularly in the offensive end.
Rask swings it over to Boychuk. Smith takes the pass from Krejci and then pulls out for a line change. Lucic to Bartkowski, rattles into the legs of Richard Panik. Bartkowski taps over to Boychuk. The snap shot off Carl's leg. Boychuk chops it up in the air and it goes out of play. 7.5 minutes to go in the first period. Shots 7-0 Tampa Bay. Tuukka Rask is the reason it's 0-0.
Tampa Bay is trying to break out of a rut right now that has them 3-7 in their last 10 games. Now, will it come tonight against the Bruins? Recent outcomes will say otherwise. Our key matchup tonight, brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers, is a season series between these two teams. Bruins have outscored Tampa Bay 11-1. That one goal coming in the season opener back in Boston. Now, in terms of Tampa Bay turning things around, Steven Stamkos made note that it could happen at home. The Lightning have 13 of their last 19 games on this ice.
And Jamie, if they bring the kind of energy that they have brought in the first half of this first period, they're going to be a team to be dealt with in this building at least. Kevin Miller can't wrap it into the zone. Now Miller over to Krug. Miller feeds it indirect up the boards for Campbell. And now Carl in the corner. Pyatt gives him a bump. Koska trickles it out. Stamkos brings it back. Now Campbell around through the corner. Carl throws it right in front of his own goal to Stamkos. Purcell back to Stamkos. He's got Killorn ahead on the left. Hamilton reaches out to glove the puck down at the line. Tampa Bay peels off for a line change. Now Charles lugs it up to the red line. Hard around, wiring it into the zone. Delayed offside on the Bruins. They tag up. And Hedman will take the space they had to yield. The pass behind Callahan. Eriksson over to take possession back for Boston. Hard to remember too many 13.5-minute spans this entire season that the Bruins have not had a shot on goal, much less to open a game. Krug. Callahan whips the puck cross ice. Their low for shots on goal in the first period is 1 on Halloween against an Anaheim team. And the Ducks were playing a slightly different style than we've seen from Tampa Bay. Where's the breakdown coming for the Bruins that's depriving them of attacking zone chances?
Well, the point I made earlier about not connecting with their passes, I'd say that's part of it. I got to give the Lightning certainly some credit. Their structure themselves in the neutral zone's been real good. Boston's been okay, too. They've only given up 7 shots, which is right in line with a pretty good defensive effort. But as far as generating some offense, the Bruins have to sharpen up a little bit in their execution on how they move the puck. And if they're going to get into the neutral zone against that 2-3 or whatever you want to call that formation by the Lightning, if they go up the wall, they need to get a second forward a little closer so those chip passes down the wall or a direct pass is more effective.
Pyatt in front for Thompson, but he can't redirect the backhand pass, and the Bruins turn it into transition. Smith to Marchand to Bergeron. Right back to Barbary of Tampa Bay. Bartkowski over to Boydchuk. Tumbles the muffin cross corner. Barbary locks up against Marchand. Bergeron flips it around to the opposite corner. Tyler Johnson taps back to Barbary, who is this year's Scott Hartnell Award winner for craziest hair in the NHL. I don't think Barbary's seen a barber since the beginning of the season. Sure doesn't look like it. Pane goes down. Johnson racing through the seam. Johnson back to Brown. Brown and Bartkowski wrestle, and that keeps Brown from getting the chance. Krejci extends the leg to kick the puck toward the corner. Pane back for it. Lucic puts the body on him. Krejci taps it away from Johnson. Krug's drive saved by Bishop, and there it is. 15 minutes and 2 seconds into the game. The Bruins get one.
Well, that actually might be their second one.
Yeah,
Kelly had that dump in from the neutral zone. They counted that as a shot, which is what it was.
Okay. Yep. Torrey Krug has Daniel Pyatt going up the left wing and gives it to him. Pyatt working against Koska. The shot deflects up high on Bishop and goes over the goal. Hamilton cocks and fires, and that one hits a Tampa Bay stick and bloops across the slot. Killorn's pass onto Callahan's stick. He brings it past Chara, indirect for Filppula. Rask, an excellent read, goes high off glass, so Callahan couldn't handle it. Campbell sends it wing to wing for Pyatt, and Chara's going to get a penalty for going in hard against Callahan. Bruins shorthanded when the game resumes with 4:11 to go in the first.
Well, after Tuukka Rask comes out of his net on an aggressive play to get to a loose puck, he goes high off the glass. Callahan's trying to keep it in, and Chara goes to finish his hit. The initial contact by Chara, not the penalty. And then it was a little slap to the back of the head of Chara by Callahan. And Chara went back at him, and then the arm went up. And the funny thing was the Bruins had puck possession the entire time coming through the neutral zone, and they still didn't blow the play down.
Tampa Bay power play 0 for 3 against Buffalo in the loss on Thursday. 0 for 13 against the Bruins this season. There's one power play goal in the last 4 games for Tampa Bay, but of course a different story with Steven Stamkos, the right shot who's in the left circle now, coming high slot as Filppula holds the puck, brings it back to Koska. His shot off of Kelly's leg, and Kelly changes out. Filppula trickles it over to Koska at the center dot. He gives to Hedman over the line, loops it. Stamkos catches the puck out of the air. Boydchuk wins the race against Callahan. Filppula gets a stick on the clearing attempt, knocks it down for Koska. Filppula over to Hedman. The puck explodes off his forehand. Now around the boards it comes to Filppula, pokes it back. Koska can't keep it in the attacking zone. Marchand off to the races, but Hedman whacks it away from him. We welcome the RDS viewers who are picking up our feed tonight. The Bruins will play the Canadiens on Wednesday night. Tip of the cap to Canadiens management for picking up the ultimate Bruins killer in Thomas Vanek, which makes that rivalry ever more interesting. Miller down to the end boards. Matt Carl pokes it out of his skates. Bergeron's there, and he hoists it free to center.
Smart play. He thought maybe I have a pass to Pyatt, but the minute he sees Purcell get in the passing lane, in the air and out.
Miller hammers it around, and that'll skid the length of the rink. 25 seconds to go in Chara's roughing penalty. Matt Carl Gives to Stamkos. Stamkos weaves to the line. Bartkowski taps the puck away. Campbell there. Flips the backhand up to Kelly, who finishes the job.
Every pair the Bruins roll out as far as forwards on this penalty kill have been outstanding. It started early on the penalty kill when a shot blocked by Kelly.
0 shots on goal for Tampa Bay, so neither power play able even to get a shot on goal in this first period. David Krejci brings it up ice. He's got Iginla on the right. Goes past Barberio, sends it all the way around, and the puck comes back to the red line. Krug dumps it in off the corner boards. Brewer out the left side. Barberio flicks it ahead to the attacking line. Touch pass from Pyatt to Thompson, but Lucic is back in position to knock the puck away. Miller wins the puck battle on the boards. Krejci also over there. Now Iginla off a stick, and Lucic charges down the wing, cuts to the inside, and draws a hooking penalty. Milan Lucic showing tremendous power and speed, and Boston will be on the power play with 1.5 minutes to go in the first.
And it started along the wall. Good battle in there by Kevin Miller. Good support by the forwards. Krejci was there. And this is what we're talking about, Jack. You got to get those forwards coming across the ice to pick up the chips down the wall. A little bit more support on the offensive side of the puck. And Lucic with that big, powerful stride, recognizing I have a chance to take this puck to the net. And he draws the penalty. Barberio will go to the box, and the Bruins will have an opportunity late here to establish some kind of offense.
Slashing is the call. Hamilton has Smith on the left side. Taps it over to the right to Erickson. Back to Hamilton. Bergeron in the slot. The shot all the way through to Bishop, and there's a really good wrestling match right in front of the goal.
Well, Tampa taking some issue with Soderberg, but Soderberg's not even close to the paint. Ben Bishop with that big body, he's got his arm extended out beyond the blue paint of the crease. Soderberg's trying to get there, but he's a long ways from the net in terms of the goal line. But it's a nice save by Bishop, dealing with traffic, tracked the puck well, gets it with the glove hand.
Filppula and Callahan, the penalty-killing forwards for Tampa Bay. Salo and Brewer are the defensive pair. Filppula wins it straight back. Callahan has the lane and makes the clear. Clicking toward 1 minute to go in the first period. Tampa Bay out shooting the Bruins 7-3.
This is the last minute of play of the period.
Dougie Hamilton. Off the boards, it comes around for Salo, but the play was offside. And the drop will be back at the center dot.
And that's a tough dump in. Dougie Hamilton moves well, handles the puck really well. Really coming on here as one of the go-to guys given the Bruins defense situation, which is why the Bruins made the moves that they did at the deadline. But if you're going to fire that puck in, you got to do it the minute you step across that red line. He thought he may have a chance to carry that puck in, and by doing that, Jack, you just slow the forwards down, and if they don't slow down, you're going to get the offside.
50
Torrey Krug with still more than 3/4 of a minute to go in the opening period. David Krejci, Lucic has a lane, tries the power pass. Salo stacks him up. Chara sizzles it into Iginla's legs. Iginla banks the pass for Krejci. Krejci draws Johnson over to Krug. Johnson has 3 shorthanded goals on the year, tops among rookies of the NHL. Iginla's drive goes wide. Krug in the open side, and a good stick check coming back by Andre Palat. Krug, here's Krejci taking Iginla's pass. Puck loose in the crease. Chara digs it away. Krejci keeps possession for the Bruins. Krug has space. Only 10 seconds. The shot. Chara can't make the knockdown tip in front. Lucic with 6. Iginla's shot. Save Bishop, and he dives on the rebound with 3 seconds to go.
Yeah, a little bit better now with the man advantage. Boston moving the puck a little quicker and a willingness to shoot the puck. Good puck possession play behind the net. That's how it started with Chara finding Iginla. Now the Bruins get into their set. Good decisions, good execution. From one side of the ice to the other. Bishop's got to go left to right, get square to that shot. Iginla tried to beat him, but that's a big boy in net. Covers up a lot of that net.
6'7", 215. Chara cross ice. Krug rebound. Erickson. But the buzzer had sounded. It would not have counted. The Bruins with some impressive quick work in the final 3 seconds of the period. They'll go to the rooms 0-0.
And it started with a face-off win in the offensive zone with not much time on the clock. The fake shot from out high. They set up almost a set play for the one-timer, and Eriksson gets the rebound.
Alongside Andy Brickley with Jamie Erdahl at ice level. I'm Jack Edwards coming your way live from the Tampa Bay Times Forum. Right down by the channel in Tampa, Florida. It is 0-0 between the Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning at the end of the first 20 minutes of play. The Bruins, for the 10th time this season, managing just 5 shots on goal in an opening period, yet they've lost just 1 of those instances. A lot of respect at the highest level between the star of Tampa Bay and the coach of Boston. Jamie has more.
Pretty crazy 48 hours for Steven Stamkos in the middle of this week. He gets medically cleared to play. His captain gets traded away, and then he is named captain just hours later. Now for Stamkos, if we all remember, broke his fibula in Boston back in November. If we heard correctly, Claude Julien came and visited Stamkos in the hospital immediately following that. Julien saying this week that despite Team Canada's win in Sochi, they still missed this goal scorer as a part of that gold medal push. And Stamkos pretty honored the fact that one of Canada's coaches came to visit him in Boston.
I thought that was pretty cool for him to come over and actually check out and see how I was doing, and actually bring over one of those game-ready machines to help me out with the swelling and the icing. So that was pretty classy of him.
Well, that's what it is. Claude Julien's sun protection factor wasn't so high today, but hey, willing to pay the price.
When in Rome.
Right. Ron Burgundy. First period summary brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. And Mark Barberio begins the second period in the penalty box with all of his hair. Krejci, Hamilton, Chara, Lucic, Iginla. The Bruins forwards only had 1 authentic shot on goal in the first period, as Kelly's was a dump in, and that was Iginla. Here's Johnson fighting through. Rask pokes it away. The shot, Palat. The rebound, he scores! A shorthanded goal, and Tampa Bay draws first blood. Andre Palat.
Well, you come into the second period hoping what the Bruins did late in the first period with the power play, where they generated some kind of chances, would carry over to start the period on the power play still, but they're going to find themselves behind in the hockey game. Well, that stays with it. Hamilton loses his balance in the neutral zone. He's the last line of defense. Rask is able to get out. There was some hesitation to come, but he does get to the puck first. But Palat on the follow-up. The initial stop was a good one by Rask, but then he was able to fish that puck out away from Rask and snap it home.
It is not by 9 seconds the quickest goal the Bruins have allowed at the start of a period this season. That belonged to Patrick Marleau of the San Jose Sharks on the 24th of October in the third period. Bergeron trickles it across the goal mouth. Killorn chops it out to the line, but not out to center ice. Marchand around past Bishop. Now it's Bergeron. Riley Smith tries to wrap around off Bishop's pads. Hedman to Killorn and back into the neutral zone. Rask takes it on a short hop. And the Bruins will have a face-off in their own zone. So very disappointing start for the Bruins in the second period after really looking sluggish in the first. Hamilton jams. Kelly steps on the puck. Hamilton whips it around past Soderberg. Carl right back on Rask, and he sticks it to the corner glass. Filppula bounces it down. Chara scrapes it along. Carl races in, beats Kelly to the puck. Hamilton cuts it off for Soderberg. Soderberg having trouble from the goal scorer Palat. Now Carl pitches down to the half boards, comes off Soderberg's stick. Palat against Soderberg on the end wall. Hamilton bangs hard against Callahan. Soderberg there's the next layer. Palat tries to keep the puck pinned against the kick plate. Chara plays the body against Callahan, stopping him. Now Eriksson off the boards, and it wiggles into Carl's legs. Kelly busts through. Good next layer from Michael Koska, but now Eriksson goes to work against him. Soderberg fights the puck free. Soderberg low for Eriksson. The shot handcuffs Bishop. Callahan whacks it out, and it finds a way on edge past Torrey Krug.
A good board battle by those two players. Soderberg along with Eriksson. Eriksson sneaks a bad angle shot. Surprised.
Thornton right in front. Campbell redirects, and Bishop makes a positional save.
And Gregory Campbell, a hot hand right now, gets a quality scoring chance. Nice play down deep. Thornton's going to protect the puck on the backhand. Try to gain some time by taking that puck wide. Keep it away from the back check of Panik. And then Campbell finds the seam right in the slot.
Campbell and Johnson. Johnson picked up an assist on that shorthanded goal. We told you earlier he has 3 shorthanded goals himself this season. Brewer also getting an assist. For Palat, it is his 15th goal of the season. Krug off the boards to Campbell. Thornton at the red line, follows through across the red line, no icing. High with a quick move, loses an edge. Ollie into the corner. J.T. Brown. Panik on the off wing, the left shot on the right side, backhands it hard on Rask, flips it airborne over the crossbar and across the goal mouth. Miller drops the shoulder into Panik and puts him on the seat of his pants. Lucic off the boards, past Thornton. Thornton and Ollie go to the end boards. J.T. Brown picks it up. Remember, Thornton and Ollie had the first period fight. Bartkowski swivels it through, throws it right into the crease, and Ollie and Thornton still going at it. Thornton takes an overhand right, pops Ollie right in the chest.
Yeah, Thornton got hit with a high stick in that board battle behind the net. No penalty call.
Krejci, serpentine route through the neutral zone. Carl and Bishop with a little miscommunication, and Lucic skates right over the puck. Iginla backhands it into the slot, nobody home.
Yeah, Lucic never thought the puck was going to still be there.
Boychuk drives it into Carl's legs. Carl off Lucic's stick. Boychuk right there to break it up, but then it pinballs back to Pyatt. Pyatt, the ex-Canadien, takes it to the end board. Lucic tries to cave in Callahan, and the puck's underneath. Pyatt trying to A-frame against Bartkowski. Now Callahan muscles it through the corner, and Boychuk gives him a forearm shiver. Pyatt back to Barberio, he scores! Thompson in a wrestling match with Bartkowski. I'm not sure Rask ever saw it. 2-0 Tampa Bay.
Looked like the referee asked Thompson if he got a piece of it, and he shook him off. But this pressure by Tampa, Jack, was the result of the Bruins with not enough awareness in the neutral zone. They had opportunities to make plays with puck possession, and they're unable to do it. Now the Lightning with that good forecheck, able to use their points. Barberio with the one-timer. Is able to go through Iginla. Thompson's in a battle in front with Bartkowski. The puck deflects and it trickles between the legs of Tuukka Rask.
If it's Barberio's goal, it's his first in 11 games. Steve Kazari consulting with linesman Darren Gibbs. And they'll have a look at this one.
Well, one of the reasons Thompson may have said to the referee, I didn't get it, because they're going to check and see if it was a distinct kicking motion, because it certainly looked like it went off his skate.
Well, flip a coin. Who knows? It's so difficult to determine whether or not there are distinct kicking motions with players, especially in wrestling matches like this one. Well, couldn't even see contact there, so difficult to discern.
Well, they showed a replay here in the building up on the big Jumbotron, and it looks like from that replay Thompson has his skate in the air, and that's why he shook off the referee, saying I didn't touch it.
Steve Kazari.
After review, we're calling the ice stands. It's a good goal.
All right, so here are the Bruins. A very resilient team when down by 1. 11-17-5 on the season when down by 1 at any point in the game. But amazingly, 3/4 of the way into the year, the Bruins have not come from 2 goals down to win a game. They're 0-15-2 when down by 2 at any point. Long way to go in this one, but a very disappointing start for Boston, which really was not on the same competitive level as Tampa Bay in the first 10 or 12 minutes of this game, despite having a power play in that time. Marchand comes back for the puck. Dougie Hamilton moves right through the crowd. Centering pass from Bergeron looking for Smith. That doesn't connect. And back comes Purcell across the middle, just past the post with Hedman jumping up on the play. Ollie goes for the drive. It hits Killorn in front. Ollie chips it up, spins. Hamilton kicks it out of the air. Purcell with a good hit, driving Hamilton into the boards, but Bergeron's there to pick up the puck. Chara scoops it out. Salo over to Ollie. Ollie from the red line sails one off the corner boards. Eriksson kicks it back to Chara. Hard around for Hamilton. Hamilton tumbles it through the neutral zone. It rolls toward Bishop's goal. Salo back with Eriksson right on him. Eriksson angles him off. Soderberg brings it back to Miller. Swings it over to Krug. The shot tipped in front and a save by Bishop. Soderberg on the doorstep. Bishop out of his goal. Here comes Eriksson, and he pops it away from the Tampa Bay goalie. Eriksson to the rotating Krug. Krug's shot knocked down, and it goes to the corner. Kelly flips it past Salo to the near side. Palat gets it loose. Callahan swings it to Filppula. Eriksson with back pressure. Kelly on the diagonal is the next layer. Ahead to Soderberg with a little bit of space. Soderberg cuts middle. Soderberg's shot saved by Bishop. Bruins generate offense from defense, but they're in a 2-0 hole thanks to Mark Barberio's 5th of the season.
Bruins trailing by a pair. They're looking to increase the sharpness of their execution on the attack. Actually, in all 3 zones here tonight. The 3rd unit doing a real nice job. Eriksson getting on the forecheck, using their points, making the right decisions, activating the D at the right times. Krug's going to get 2 shots on this shift. And then later in the shift, right before we went to break, Soderberg was able to cut to the middle. Unfortunately, his wrist shot kind of right at Ben Bishop. But that's the type of hockey the Bruins got to establish themselves. Not there yet.
Campbell and Johnson on the face-off. A stalemate. The puck stays right at the dot. There's a screen shot that rings off the crossbar and comes out, but they rule played with a high stick, and the face-off will come outside the zone. So a tip above not just the crossbar, but the shoulder, so the goal would not have counted.
It's just a little wrist shot. It's a possession play by Paille back to Boychuk. And Campbell with the redirect. Couldn't tell at real speed if he got a piece of it or not. I thought it was just one of those dipping wrist shots from a defenseman backing up that hit the crossbar. But they said Campbell got a piece.
Campbell and Johnson on another tussle at the face-off dot. And here's Salo to Ollie. Salo kicks to the stick, backhands it to Panik. Off the corner boards, Boychuk turns it away from Brown's physical pressure. Bartkowski in the corner, draws Panik. Panik gets it back off Salo's skate. Johnson throws it into the middle. Boychuk kicks it away to Campbell. Long indirect for Paille. Tries to swivel on Johnson. Paille follows. The backhander scores! Daniel Paille with an outstanding effort, and the Bruins are back in the game. It's 2-1.
The tip of the cap to Gregory Campbell to make a perfect pass, indirect off the boards in the neutral zone, to at least give Paille a chance for a potential breakaway. And when that doesn't develop, a one-on-one opportunity. But Campbell goes indirect, right in stride, just onside. A one-on-one against Johnson, small forward. And Paille is able to muscle his way around him, stay with the puck. Good stick strength. And when Bishop goes down to handle the initial forehand chance, Paille stays with it and able to sneak a backhand by him.
Tremendous effort by Paille. Bergeron wins the center drop. Hamilton to Chara, trying to sneak it through to Marchand. It doesn't connect. 4 feet to the left, and Marchand's in alone, and the Bruins have a chance for 2 goals in about 7 seconds.
One of the Bruins set plays off neutral zone faceoffs, particularly at the center dot, I should say. You can work it in other areas of the ice, but right off the faceoff at the center dot, that's that play with a left winger, in this case Marchand, starts to fan towards the boards to pull the defenseman in that direction and then cut back to the middle. It's a timing pattern for the defenseman.
Bergeron angles off Pyatt. Chara to Hamilton. Back to Chara. He lugs it into the neutral zone. Bergeron redirects the puck to the end boards. Matt Carl back after it. Carl settles the puck, chips it out to Palat. It hops up on the boards. Marchand engages him. Smith stabs it loose. Bergeron up off the glass, turns it to the backhand. Back up the boards for Hamilton. Kicks to the stick to keep it in the zone. The wrist shot up high on the deflection. Carl knocks it down and ices the puck.
Go inside the locker room on the ice and closer to the Bruins than ever before with Behind the B, presented by Alex and Ani. Don't miss the next all-new episode this Tuesday night at 8 right here on NESN. To view outtakes or catch up on previous episodes, visit bostonbruins.com/Behind the B.
Daniel Paillet's 9th goal of the season. Gregory Campbell picks up his 10th assist. Johnny Boychuk his 16th assist, coming at 6:58, 2:45 after the 2-0 goal for Tampa Bay.
You gotta love assists like that. A shot from the point gets deflected, goes off your leg, and it goes right to Campbell. Nice play by Boychuk.
Boychuk's drive off a Tampa Bay stick, hits the end glass. Palat drops it back for a Hedman. Bartkowski gloves it down, takes a hit from Palat at the line. Palat uses his body pretty well, gets physically engaged. Kelly wins the puck away from Pyatt. Center, Soderberg fans on the shot. Bartkowski scoops it up, now takes it around the rim, fires it in toward goal. Pyatt kicks it to the corner. Now gets it to Palat. Indirect for Thompson. Bartkowski with the reach to tap it back. Pyatt brings the puck into the zone. Would have been offside. Soderberg has a breakaway from Kelly. He dekes and scores! The Bruins have tied it! 2 goals in 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
Well, Danny Pyatt got things rolling with a great individual effort in a one-on-one against Johnson to get the Bruins to within 1 at 2-1. But it was really this line here that got the Bruins going. We showed you a little highlight reel of the third line, establishing some kind of offensive zone time, forecheck, make plays, use your points, and here they are again. Soderberg opens up in the neutral zone. He skates to open space to create a lane. And Chris Kelly doing what he does best, that good back pressure, create the turnover, and he quickly recognized where Soderberg was. And Soderberg able to handle that hard pass, pivot. And what a nice little finish on the breakaway. Poise. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. The minute Bishop opened the leg, slide it in on the back end.
As my 2nd grade teacher, Miss McDonald, would have reminded me, carry the 1. It was 131, not 231. Lucic's wrist shot. Boy, the Bruins have a ton of energy right now as they've come back to tie this game. Lucic for Krejci, overskates the puck. Killorn digs it out of his own skates. So 2 goals in a minute and 31 seconds for the Bruins.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald.
Yeah.
Or was it Miss?
It was Miss. Terrific piano player, too, by the way. Dougie Hamilton working it forward. Does not connect on Paillet's backhand, and it goes for icing against the Bruins.
Tomorrow afternoon at 1, catch up with Don and Jerry live from Bradenton as your World Series champion Red Sox take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Red Sox spring training games on NESN are presented by Southwest Airlines.
Soderberg's 11th of the season. Chris Kelly gets his 7th assist. Easily the most competitive game between these two teams this season. Filppula scores! .102 for Tampa Bay's answer.
Well, you don't like to think that icings are a problem for Boston because they're real good in the face-off circle, but people get lost in coverage here on the rotation. You can see Chara kind of playing center field. He was looking at the puck thinking, I'm going to go take him. Campbell goes in that direction. Filppula finds open space in the slot as a result. And Rask just can't get across in time. Good finish by Filppula. Having a strong year here in Tampa.
Team leading 21 goals. Daniel Paille back to Miller. Thornton on the half boards, and that one deflects up and over. Of course, it's team leading for the players who are still on the roster. So 1 goal in 3 games for Tampa Bay coming in, and then 3 goals in half a game tonight. Bergeron, Marchand, and Smith against Tyler Johnson, J.T. Brown, and Richard Panik. Bergeron against Hedman, sets the edges, backhands it on Bishop. It's loose. Krug pulls it away from Panik. Smith to Miller, the drive gets blocked down. Now here comes Johnson taking Brown's feet out. He's got Panik in the middle. Miller coming back through the defensive slot, takes it away. Marchand, the little hop kick to Bergeron, back to Marchand, tries to cut it to the inside. Bergeron turns and wheels it on Bishop. He'll have to take a defensive zone faceoff. The Bruins pull even with 2 goals in a minute 31. 1:02 later, Filppula puts Tampa Bay ahead. We're back in 30 seconds with Berkshire Bank Rewind.
Timeout for the Berkshire Bank exciting rewind. Let's roll it back to the first period. We're going to get a look at Tuukka Rask making a huge stop. But the reason he has to make the stop is because the Bruins try to get on the forecheck. Krejci and Iginla. This is good work. But after the body contact, it's actually Panik that knocks Iginla down. And remember that because Panik's going to get the chance up ice. But as this play develops, Milan Lucic's the third man high, well positioned, good angle, good battle along the wall, and he thinks he's disrupted the play. But Steven Stamkos is able to keep the play alive. Good support. The Lightning have shown all night long that they have good structure in the neutral zone, both defensively and offensively. And even though the Bruins are trying to establish the forecheck, they have the third man high. They're in real good shape. What should be a 3-on-3 now becomes a 4-on-3. Panik is able to jump into the play because Krejci and Iginla can't get back in time. Outnumbered situation, but what a left pad save by Tuukka Rask.
Every month, Berkshire Bank is giving away a Kindle Fire HD. Plus, at the end of the season, Berkshire Bank will assist one lucky winner with their mortgage for a year. All you need to do is vote for your favorite exciting rewind. Go to NESN.com/Berkshire Bank to enter. Berkshire Bank. Life is exciting. Let them help. Soderberg, Eriksson, and Kelly against Stamkos, Purcell, and Killorn. Boychuk to Bartkowski, the drive off the end boards, and it dies in the strings of the back of the net. Killorn, a touch pass for Stamkos. Too much traffic, and Eriksson has the angle in the neutral zone. Kelly off the boards. Koska back to pick it up. Soderberg attacks the puck. Soderberg at the end boards, pokes it away. Killorn comes in, and Soderberg wins the 1-against-2 battle. Killorn angles off Kelly. Koska sends it ahead for Purcell. Purcell works against Bartkowski. Soderberg there to cut him off. Koska against Eriksson, and Eriksson wins the battle of 21. Bartkowski around for Kelly. It pops up as Carl confronts him. Koska drags the backhand over the line as Stamkos clears the zone. Tampa Bay will change out. The Bruins take possession unopposed. Boychuk headmans the puck to Eriksson. He waits for forwards to come onto the ice. Lucic on the end boards against Koska. Back through the corner. Palat off the skates of Krejci. It ricochets to Filppula, sending Callahan racing up the middle. Now he cuts to Chara's side. Callahan swings it into the crease off Rask's stick, off Hamilton's stick, and to the corner. Filppula goes down. The puck's underneath. It rattles around. Filppula can't control. Hamilton through Palat to Chara. straight up the middle of the Boston zone. Callahan intercepts the dangerous pass, and then Hamilton poke checks it away. 4-on-3 up ice. Lucic draws it wide against Barberio. Sends it past him. Barberio swings it right to Chara. Along the line to Hamilton. Plays it on the Karem against Palat. Iginla to Hamilton, quickly to Chara. Quick draw back. Here's Iginla swooping through for the rebound. Filppula turns it ahead for Palat. Palat, self-pass into the middle. Tried to pick up the chip. And Tampa Bay gets an attacking zone face-off out of it, which is where the go-ahead goal came from.
Yeah, just when you think the Bruins have the game where they want it with a pair of goals to tie it, but right off the face-off after an icing, and this is what we were talking about. Campbell's going to the puck carrier or the playmaker, Palat. Chara's a little bit in no man's land. Dougie Hamilton thinks he has to protect the front of the net. Danny Paille can't sag back down in the slot quick enough, and Filppula finds the open seam. Just a little miscommunication, and the Lightning take advantage of it.
John Cooper matches up the Stamkos line against Boston's Campbell line as the home team gets the last change. Shot dies in front, and then the backhand trickles just past the post. Krug sends it beyond Paille's reach, and it goes the length of the rink for icing against Boston. Now, Brick, I'm going to be a little selfish here because my 14-year-old daughter, Nina, who elected to play against the boys for 4 years, finished up her bantam career tonight. Her team was eliminated from the state tournament, but what a tremendous run, and for many coaches who pushed her and accepted her as one of the boys, actually. They taught her a lot, and she learned a lot of great life lessons. Really proud of her effort.
Way to go, Nina.
So look out, girls, next year. It's going to take her a while to learn how not to play the body. Rask holds the post against Stamkos, who's looking for his first goal since his return from the broken leg. Killorn in front of the Boston bench, gives it away to Paille. Paille against Hedman coming over. Paille swivels it middle, and Thornton can't get to it.
Yeah, pretty good effort by Hedman to explode from one side of the ice. And Paille's got great speed, but Hedman got there in an angle in a hurry.
Thornton has Marchand middle. Thornton down to the corner, tips it off the end boards. Boychuk rattles it off the back glass. Riley Smith can't chip it past Salo and pick the puck back up. Bergeron. Stamkos pins him. Smith back to Bartkowski, wails the one-timer wide. Boychuk pinches down, takes a big hit from the ex-Bruin Thompson. Bergeron banks the pass. Bartkowski gets the skate behind it to keep it in the zone. Now Boychuk goes low. Riley Smith out of the corner, but it's off Thompson's stick. Boychuk keeps it on the line. Hedman on the half boards in the defensive zone. Marchand intercepts, but flips it past his teammate Boychuk. Bartkowski with Paille at the chaser. Clicking towards 6 minutes to go in the second period. The Bruins fell in a 2-0 hole, pulled even, but then a minute and 3 seconds later gave up the go-ahead goal. Tyler Johnson bunts it forward to J.T. Brown. Miller plays the body. Miller goes down. Brown keeps going. Sends it around for Johnson. Johnson whips it back to Carl, who has to turn the stick to the backhand side. He sends it past Johnson. The right shot couldn't get the left side of his stick on the boards to control the puck. Now it comes back to Carl. Panik swoops out of the corner. Johnson keeps the feet moving, gives to Ollie the shot, saved by Rask. Bergeron over to Kelly, draws it wide in the 3-on-2. Kelly drops to Bergeron. Bergeron against Johnson. Johnson blocks the centering attempt with his legs and then goes off the end boards to Carl.
No, Bergeron recognizing a potential 3-on-2, end of the shift. He's absolutely spent. He tried to stay and help create some offense. Just didn't materialize.
Keith Ollie off glass. It spins down into Lucic's legs. 3-on-3 up ice as Filppula tries to cut the corner. Lucic unable to power to the goal, but Soderberg is right there with him. A couple of big bodies. The one-timer Eriksson. And it gets tipped wide. Hamilton swivels it. It goes past the blue line. Chara brings it in. The play ruled offside. 4:48 to go second period. We got a really good one going in Tampa Bay.
Earlier tonight on Bruins Face Off Live, we introduce our Nesson Mobile Bruins poll. Which team made out better in the St. Louis Callahan deal? Reply A for the Lightning, B for the Rangers, or C, it was an even trade. Text your answer vote to 536-536. Messages and data rates may apply. Text help for info and visit Nesson.com/terms for terms and conditions and a privacy policy.
You know, Jamie, I would like to reissue this poll 3 years from now and see what people think then. Hard to determine. And Marty St. Louis, a tremendously skilled and competitive player. Palat knocks down Boychuk. Palat, the player of the game so far. A goal and an assist and very involved physically. Bartkowski bounces the backhand off the boards. Koska gives over to Brewery. Fans on the pass. Krejci back off the boards and out to the neutral zone. Bishop stops the puck back of his goal. Michael Koska looks long for Filppula at the attacking line. The drive off Chara's stick bounces off the end boards. Chara underneath Lucic's blade, and that goes the length of the ice for icing against Boston.
Tough break. Good defensive play by Chara at the stick position, and he makes the right play. Tape-to-tape pass to Lucic, and it was on the tape, and then it just exploded. And we talk about body position, stick position all the time. Filppula takes this puck. Now he's going against one of the toughest defenders, if not the toughest defender in the league. And you know you're not going to step around him in all probability. You don't have a ton of speed. You go for the shot. He just puts his stick in there, well timed.
Killorn to Stamkos. The rocket goes off the back glass. Hamilton swings the backhand to Chara. Now Lucic with Salo coming up to confront him. That causes the pass to die in the neutral zone. Now Purcell with Killorn going behind. Stamkos under Killorn's stick. Chara wants transition. Nudges it ahead for Lucic. Lucic with the wiggle. Goes past Barberio through the corner. Lucic leaves it behind, but there's Killorn on the back check. Purcell overskates it. Chara turns. Holds. Now Hamilton draws Killorn. Wrists it down to the circle. Smith the short pass behind Bergeron. Killorn. Purcell can't control. Neither team able to do a real good job of controlling the puck. I wonder if at ice level the surface is a little irregular.
Yeah, the puck's on edge a lot tonight, Jack.
Stamkos against Bergeron. Smith takes the bump from Barberio. Hedman across the goal mouth. Backhands it off the boards. Bergeron knocks it away from Pyatt. Pyatt had some space, but he also had to deal with Patrice Bergeron. One of the best defensive forwards of his age. Barberio all the way to the attack line to Callahan, who was trying to sneak behind Krug. He leaves it off for Barberio. The quick wrist shot up high, and it hits Pyatt. Now Pyatt wants transition for Boston. Tries to go between the stick and the blades of Carl, but Carl plays the body nicely. Miller gains the red line, rolls it around the dasher. Barberio trickles it ahead. Campbell's in the way. Barberio goes the other direction, past Carl toward Thompson. High puts the hip on Thompson. Thornton comes in to help out. Campbell jacks it loose. Punches the puck away, now gets it to Krug. Fakes the shot. Fires it off the boards. Barberio, stick check by Pyatt, keeps the puck alive for Boston for the moment. Carl to Callahan. He hammers it off the boards out of the icing against the Bolts.
Which Bruin has exceeded all expectations this season? Cast your vote for the 2014 7th Player Award at NESN.com/7th Player for a chance to win a 2014 Jeep Cherokee, courtesy of Central Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Central Auto Team of Norwood. Vote tonight at NESN.com/7th Player.
Soderberg and Pyatt on the face-off. Pyatt gets tossed out. Thompson will come in to take it. Soderberg flips it to the end boards. You know, more and more off icing, we're seeing teams have a center go in there and commit an instant violation to gain another maybe 6-7 seconds of cardiovascular recovery.
Yeah, and a lot of times it could be a winger.
Yeah, exactly. It's become a league-wide tactic and maybe something that ought to be addressed.
Yeah, you get the winger in there, just cheats right off the bat in order to get everything to slow down and get thrown out. And then you have the guy you want taking the draw to step in.
Yep, because the purpose for keeping the same players on the ice is to penalize icing. Here's Boychuk's rocket, and it goes into Brown's legs. Soderberg finds it first. Kelly rotating to the point. Gives it over to Bartkowski. Sizzles to Boychuk. High middle. Kelly tries to spoon it over Panik. He can't swivel it out of his own second chance. He does. Brown has it now. Brown works on Boychuk. The hard wrist shot, and Rask has to take a defensive zone faceoff with 1:02 to go in the second.
You think back, you mentioned the ice, Jack. Right there, Bartkowski just kind of, loses an edge, blows a wheel right in the neutral zone. I don't think it was a result of body contact. And then you think about the Palat goal when Dougie Hamilton had a difficult time on a pivot in the neutral zone that led to the shorthanded chance. So not just handling the puck, if that's an issue.
Bergeron and Johnson on the faceoff. Bergeron wins it over to Kevin Miller.
This is the last minute of play in the period.
Loose puck back of the Boston goal. Chara pokes it over to Miller. Miller into the skates of Lucic. Lucic stick handles and one-hands it to Miller. Around the boards. Bishop, the 6'7" goalie for Tampa Bay, over to Victor Hedman. Iginla trickles it to Lucic in the corner. Hedman, the big reach, knocks it away from Lucic. Lucic stays with it, A-frames, and gets a little bit of space. Tyler Johnson. Now Iginla chases it back to the blue line, tees it up. Goes to Lucic looking for Krejci in front, but Hedman makes the block. Panik up but not out. Second effort gets it to the neutral zone. Very determined effort from Tampa Bay tonight. Great start for the Lightning. Had the Bruins on their heels for the first half of the first period. 2 early second period goals. And the Lightning never have trailed on the evening. Krejci tosses it, and it hops over Iginla's stick. Brown trips over Bartkowski's blade. And the period runs out. No referees have their arms in the air. And I don't think Bartkowski's going to get penalized here.
Well, the good news for the Bruins is they got themselves back in the hockey game. In fact, they had it in a very manageable position at 2-2 before the defensive zone breakdown after the icing. But because of their history this year with this Tampa Bay Lightning team, they got to feel pretty confident, and they know they haven't come close to playing their best hockey yet in this hockey game.
Well, the Bruins have gotten better as this game has gone along. Really a bad start by Boston, not even getting a shot on goal that was legitimate until about 13 minutes in. And then they found a way to even it up, only to have that blown assignment. Game summary brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. And after receiving praise from Doug Huda, Claude Julien elects to start that line that Huda was just praising. Carl Soderberg at center with Chris Kelly on his left and Louis Eriksson on his right. Brewer off the boards. It rolls down into Johnny Boychuk's corner. He bangs Filppula, kicks the puck loose to Soderberg, who gets it through the skates, but Filppula reaches back for it. Soderberg tries the other side. Carl Kelly steals, gives over to Boychuk. Boychuk against the grain. Eriksson nicely off the boards to Kelly in front for Soderberg. And Bishop makes the stop. Well, the Soderberg line picks up right where it left off, as Doug Huda was talking about.
Well, and how smooth is Louis Eriksson? It's a hard pass in his skates. He just deadens it and angles it in order to make a possession play, and then just very wisely, indirect off the boards, drop pass. He's got some skill, that kid.
And now to roll one good shift after another. The Bergeron line. Tom Pyatt wins the faceoff. Dougie Hamilton puts the hip on Johnson.
Yeah, and if you were wondering, there'd be a little tweaking of the lines here in the third period. That was a discussion we had prior to during the intermission.
Yep. There it is. Yep. Daniel Paille up in Riley Smith's spot. Riley Smith in a season-long slump without having scored a goal in 10 games coming into tonight. Panik cannot get it in front as Dougie Hamilton cuts off his path to the goal. Kosko holding at the line. Contrast Panik's technique with that of Lucic, who tends to get so much body between the defenseman and the puck that it's almost impossible to take him off his path to the post. Bartkowski slides across ice and then gets the return from Boychuk. Bartkowski had been paired with Miller. Purcell flips the puck forward to Killorn, ahead for Stamkos, speeding through the corner. Bartkowski shoves him offline. Tries to push it past Purcell, but cannot do so. Killorn on his belly, one-hands it forward. Boychuk picks off the puck. Krejci off of Purcell's stick. Second chance, gets it across to Bartkowski. Boychuk indirect into Krejci's skates. He scoops it up, and it flies all the way past the goal line. Now Killorn working it out of the circle. Behind Thompson, Miller is paired with Krug now. Bishop has the puck pop over his stick. Campbell sweeps the backhand right to Brewer. Thornton bumps Brewer off the puck. There's Campbell in close support. Centering pass comes all the way off the boards and back to the Boston zone.
Yeah, good tandem work, Thornton and Campbell, to free that puck up, create the turnover.
Miller takes the hit from Thompson. That stops the progress of the puck. Miller goes the other direction. Torrey Krug into Panik's skates. Panik to the boards to Hedman. He tosses the puck down through the corner. Chara on the backhand. Draws Filppula, leaves it behind. Krug toe picks and brings it around to the near side.
Talked about that earlier. Guys just blowing edges at different times and at strange times with no one around them.
Hedman to Palat off the half boards. The drive off Chara's legs right next to the post. Filppula can't get it between Rask's pad and the post. Kelly, sweet swivel move back of the goal line, but the Bruins under pressure. Chara 1 against 3. Waist high to Campbell. Across the zone for Krug. He has a free exit, and Kelly gets a piece of the puck to keep it from being icing. Funny tumble past Bishop, loose on the strings. Kelly gets it loose, but pays the price as Hedman decks it. Chara waits for Kelly to clear the zone, rolls it in on Bishop, and the Bruins get an attacking zone faceoff out of the sequence.
Catch tomorrow's all-new Big Bad Bruins Live, presented by DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. Get the latest Bruins news, look back at some top moments in this week in Bruins history, and find out who will reign supreme as the DCU Hero of the Week. Check it out tomorrow afternoon at 4. Chris Kelly getting in on the forecheck, first man up. Puck gets away from Bishop. If it doesn't get lodged on the net, he had a chance for a quick wraparound. Wouldn't even had to have gone, come out from behind the goal line, Jack. Just that little reach around, tuck it in that short side.
Carl off the boards, indirect for Killorn. Killorn tries to hit Stamkos, but Soderberg is right with him, stride for stride. Now Killorn in the corner. Bartkowski and Boychuk. Boychuk tries to protect the puck. Stamkos brings it back to Carl. Looking for the slap pass and the redirection. A high slot tip looping past the goal. Boychuk rattles it off glass, dives right into the slot for Purcell. Boychuk taps ahead for Eriksson. He's got Soderberg on the near side. Kelly coming late. Kelly at the back of the triangle. Back check by Purcell. They're going to call a penalty on that? That's a hook. Oh, my goodness gracious. That was just good back checking by Teddy Purcell.
Bruins are the beneficiary of this call. Kelly's going for the big back scratching slap shot as the trailer. Good defensive play by Boychuk to create the 3-on-2. The net drive by Soderberg. And he's just putting his stick, that's Purcell, putting his stick right in the way of the finish of the drive. Referee says that's a hook. He'll go to the box. And the Bruin power play. They've had a couple of good looks, but they've given up a shorthanded goal, and they're down 1. So time for the power play to respond.
Down by 1. The Bruins are 4 for 24 on the season. About 17%. Lucic along the line tosses the backhand to Krejci, top of the circle. He draws the dangerous rookie Tyler Johnson. Lucic's one-timer and a glove save by Bishop. Bruins are 0 for 2 on the power play tonight with 3 shots on goal. It was on their most recent power play that Palat was able to score on the rebound off Johnson's effort up ice. The shorthanded goal. Chara. Krug. Krejci holds, draws Filppula. Krug keeps it in the zone. Chara on the half boards, goes for the drive. It hits the post and Karam's out. The faceoff will be in the attacking zone. Chara trying to pick the stick side corner high, and he darn near got it.
Bruins spread it out along the blue line. Krejci and Krug play a little catch. Chara comes over onto the elbow and just tees one up short side. Once again, Iginla working the front of the net. He was there on the one-timer by Lucic. He's there on the difficult angle shot, but with a lot on it by Zdeno Chara, and it caught all iron.
Might have hit the bend in the pipe, huh? Johnson wins it to the boards, but Chara's there to poke the puck back toward Krejci. Lucic looping back to the line, gives to Krejci. He closes. Krug sneaking in the weak side. Lucic to Krug down at the hash marks. Iginla's in the high slot. Chara on the doorstep. Now Krejci on the near side. Tosses the backhand back to Iginla. Goes for the blast. Rattles around the front off the pipe and out. That's two pieces of iron. Palat nearly with a 2-on-1, but now he's caught on the wrong side of the puck. Bruins can't get a clean entry, though.
Unlucky again. First Chara, now Iginla. Glove side this time.
Krug gains the line. Krug sends it middle. It's in Lucic's skates. Brewer got a little piece of the puck to get it up on edge. Bergeron into the mix as he comes over the boards. Now it's Krug. Fires it cross ice and it explodes on Lucic right at the base of his stick. Now back to Krejci. He pries the puck to the corner. Salo gives it away to Lucic. Lucic saucers it back toward Krug. Krug switches with Krejci. Krejci's one-timer tipped by Chara. The rebound to the post. Bishop has the leg pad down. The Bruins with their hands in the air, but the referee waves off and says no goal.
Well, if this puck went in, it should count because it was being celebrated before the referee blew the whistle.
Well, dead in the head.
They're having a discussion right now, but the Bruins are convinced that they've tied the hockey game. One timer by Krejci, the deflection by Chara. Chara tries to stuff and tempt. And then Bergeron on the follow-up.
Yeah. Now, the Bruins went down the line, giving the fist bumps. Listen for the whistle.
You can see Bergeron already has his arm in the air, Jack. He's celebrating well before you hear that whistle.
But as we all know, the referee can rule that I didn't get the whistle in my mouth to blow it in time, and I had ruled the play dead before I was able to blow the whistle, the so-called dead in the head call.
Well, the overhead will show where this puck ends up.
Still loose. It's in there now. And they picked it up out of the goal. So.
Oh, yeah, it's tucked way in the back now, short side, under the right pad. Bishop never had it. It looked like he might have an opportunity to smother it and get the face off, and the whistle came, but after the puck was across the goal line.
This is where the goal review by some people who, it could be argued, have watched more hockey than anyone in the world up in Toronto. Mike Murphy, Colin Campbell doesn't get involved in Bruins games because his son Gregory plays for the team. Dries Bergeron jamming at it, but some people with immense hockey experience have to make the judgment on this. And obviously it has gone to them because I believe that Kazari could say, look, I ruled it dead in the head, and it doesn't matter if you saw it in the goal or not. But here comes the resolution of the issue. Is it tied or not?
Because I deemed the play was complete, and it's no goal.
Yeah, play was complete, so it's the dead in the head call. And Claude Julien wants a specific explanation from Kazari.
Well, I will say this, Jack, and not because it's going against the Bruins right now in this instance. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the rule. I don't like the dead in the head call. You should just go by the whistle.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, you're always told to play to the whistle. not played until you think the referee's called it dead in his head.
And every replay we showed you, you know, the official's on the other side of the ice, and he's making the assumption that the puck is tied up.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
Never was it. Loose the entire time. Bergeron hammers it in. And dead in the head doesn't allow you to score a goal. Don't like it.
Bergeron wins the draw cleanly to Boychuk to Bartkowski off Stamkos' stick. Bergeron right there. Bartkowski along the line. Boychuk goes to the circle and hops on Marchand. Here comes Hedman. 3 shots on goal during the Boston power play. Hedman rattles it off the end boards. Bartkowski takes it. Bartkowski steps in front of the Boston net. Gives to Boychuk. Boychuk rifles it cross ice. Paille can't play Mr. Stretch like the guys in the Fantastic Four, and he's offside. 13:31 to go in the game. The Bruins trailing Tampa Bay 3-2. Well, Julian is a little red-faced because of the sun, but he might be a little hot because of the no-goal call. And in a league that is always trying to introduce offense to the game, it's interesting how this dead-in-the-head thing negates a few goals along the way each season. And the whole idea of whether a puck was kicked into the goal or not, Charles wires one from the red line, and Bishop takes a defensive zone faceoff. You know, you wonder if at some point the general managers will suggest to the league that they just allow kicked-in goals. I mean, I understand the safety issue, but, you know, with the speed of the game, you seldom see a player making a kicking attempt that's going to bring the blade so far off the ice that it's going to injure somebody. I don't know. It's an interest. It's worth a debate anyway.
Yeah, I'd be really concerned about the safety. You know, look at some of the injuries where skate blades are involved, and it's nasty stuff. So I totally get that. But the ones that go to review where it's just a redirect or an angling and, you know, that kind of thing, I mean, it has to be a very distinct kicking motion. Otherwise, I mean, Gregory Campbell had a goal taken away from Russia that, you know, it's hard to back the decision when it's just you turning your skate to try to make a play.
Bergeron, the touch pass to Smith. Smith tries to go inside Salo. Salo's quietly had a very solid game for Tampa Bay tonight. Smith around through the corner. Bishop keeps it moving. Palat reverses to Salo. Salo up the boards. Callahan chips it out. Callahan is exactly the kind of player you want on the ice if you're trying to protect a 1-goal lead. He gives people no time and no space. And as we saw last spring in the playoffs, he will play through injury. Not just hurt, but injury. The puck bounces all the way down to Boychuk's corner. About 12 minutes ago, Bruins have not led tonight. Eric Brewer, center circle. Mark Barberio goes indirect to Purcell. Purcell against the grain. Killorn with speed around Eriksson. Curls and drags. He drifts all the way to Rask. Kicks him loose. Soderberg fishes it out of there. Now Eriksson sprints forward. The Bruins have transition. Kelly jumping up on the play. Eriksson takes it wide, draws Brewer, and sends Kelly to the corner against Barberio. Barberio plays the body. Soderberg goes indirect to Boychuk. He scores! A Johnny Rocket! And the Bruins pull even 3-3. Defense into offense. And the Bruins are all even.
Nothing dead in the head there. This is just an absolute bomb by Johnny Boychuk, but it started back in the Bruins' defensive goal. Puck was loose. Soderberg's able to fish it out with some help from Kelly. And again, a smart decision by Louis Eriksson. He's trying to draw people to him. Not only Brewer, but maybe Killorn. And then lay the puck in an area where you have a chance to get it back. Kelly gets in there. Soderberg with a nice pass, indirect, back to the point, wide open. Johnny Boychuk. And you saw the reaction by Bishop. That puck was by him before he reacted. It was just, he never saw it. A little screen in front, and it beats him on the stick side.
Johnny Boychuk's first goal in 21 games, and a very timely one. Tampa Bay, more than 8 minutes into the third period, has yet to get a shot on goal. Weird symmetry to this game. Krug, the one-touch pass back into the attacking zone. Krejci to Krug to drive. Glove saved by Bishop, and he smothers his own rebound.
David Krejci takes this quick up by Torrey Krug. Takes a peek over his right shoulder. Says, I have to delay a little bit. I think Ginla had to get out of the zone. And he moves laterally across the blue line. Then he skates to space. And what does that do? It allows time for Krug, who made the initial pass, to jump into the play. A little saucer pass that settles for a perfect one-timer. But Bishop got it with the glove hand.
Lucic in the shooter's position. Tyler Johnson against Krejci. Krejci wins it to Lucic. Lucic to drive, hit the post and goes out. That's 3 posts for the Bruins in the first 8.5 minutes of the third period.
Chara, Ginla, and now Lucic. Nice play by David Krejci. Does not win the faceoff clean and initially, but he's able to track that puck. And Lucic never had to move when he received the pass. Now he wants to move left to right, improve his angle, create a shooting lane. And he kind of goes back against the grain from the side of the ice that he had just vacated. And he beat Bishop to the blocker side and cut the post.
Krejci brings it back to Kevin Miller along the line. Krug's one-timer. And Bishop steers it to the corner. Lucic unloads on Pyatt. Pyatt gets out of the pile. Brings it up the left side. Swivels it around. Here's Thompson giving to Hedman. Hedman's shot. And it bounces high off the glass. Miller to Krug. Krug hits Lucic. Lucic digs the backhand through a couple of skates. Stevens. Stamkos right over the center dot. Wrists it off the boards. It bounces in behind Rask. Now Krug. North and south to Thornton. Thornton tries to touch pass through Barberio. Campbell gets it loose. Thornton in the slot. The shot blocked by Brewer. It trickles down into Campbell's skates. Callahan. Tight radius turn to get away from Campbell. Scoops it hard off glass and it bounces right past Chara. Hamilton in the Boston zone. Callahan right in his face. Thornton trickles it down into Barberio's corner. Payet going in. A hairy hit indeed. Personal to Filppula. Filppula picks up his self-pass. Let's go Bruins, the chant from the black and gold clad invaders in this crowd. Barberio long indirect for Callahan. He closes the shot, save Rask, and he controls the rebound with Filppula swooping in. We got a Bonbena going, Martha. Halfway through the third, it's 3-3. Johnny Boychuk's third of the year has tied it up. The road ahead brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Back to back. And not only is the game 2 hours earlier than this one, but of course we spring ahead on the clocks tonight, so it's the equivalent of playing a 4 o'clock game in a different city after playing a 7 o'clock game. I didn't think that was legal in NHL rules. NBC poaches the Montreal game. That'll be a great one on Wednesday. We'll be home for Phoenix. It'll be the first meeting of the two teams this season on the 13th of March.
And this game here may take extra time to decide.
Yep. Bergeron into the middle. Stamkos can't pull his stick out from Bartkowski's legs. Bergeron feeds Smith ahead. He works it around. Koska goes to the corner. Smith to Bergeron. Bergeron goes down, gets up against Killorn's check. Boychuk's blast. Deflects, hops off the strings. Carl whacks the backhand to Purcell along the wall. Bartkowski keeps the puck in the attacking zone, races away from the boards, but the pass is offline back to center. Bergeron draws Killorn, sends it ahead for Marchand. Marchand gets a pass. Carl Smith goes down to his knees. A lot of bad ice out there here in the third period. Koska reverses it, goes past Stamkos, taking an unusual bounce. Purcell chops it, middle. Bruins in the middle of a change. Here comes Stamkos. Stamkos runs into Eriksson's stick check. Killorn has the puck. Killorn throws it right on Rask, who makes a paddle save. Callahan tries to get it right back in there, and does, and Rask takes the defensive zone face-off with 9 to go.
Tickets are still available to see the Bruins take the ice against the Phoenix Coyotes this Thursday night at TD Garden. Can't find the tickets you want? You can be the first to know when additional game tickets become available by signing up to get last-minute ticket notifications by email at bostonbruins.com/ticket alerts.
Bruins have come from 2 down to tie and from 1 down to tie. Salo diagonally through the seam. Callahan and Chara. Chara with the reach gets it around to Soderberg. Soderberg between Palat and Callahan. It caroms around. And Rask fungles it out of the air. Now it's Kelly. Can't connect on the indirect pass. Salo cross ice. Palat rolls it around. Miller. Eriksson under pressure from Filppula. Salo with the puck on edge. It won't cooperate with him either. Eriksson to Soderberg, off the boards for Kelly, too far forward. Hedman takes it, rifles it around. Boychuk jumping up on the play, fresh off the bench, and he trickles it to the end boards. Kelly pokes it near side. Krug doesn't want to take the chance. Now he does, but Eriksson rotates back. His pass comes back to the neutral zone. Boychuk drives it all the way around the board. Salo reverses for Filppula, and here comes Soderberg. Filppula trickles it back for Salo, and Soderberg veers off for a shift change. It's the Krejci line with Lucic left and Iginla right. Panik off the boards into space. Kevin Miller is there. Lucic has trouble from Panik. The backhander well wide glove side. Tyler Johnson very quick. Waterbugs to the puck. Tries the drop pass, but Iginla reads it perfectly. Iginla fights through the stick check of Panik. Leaves it outside the line. It comes in for Iginla. The Bruins are onside as they chase here. Brewer drills it off the wood. It goes by Panik. Bartkowski extends the strides and wins the race to the dots. It's icing.
Tonight, following Bruins coverage, join Elle Duncan and Jenny Dell for NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. They'll have more on the Bruins, Red Sox split squad recaps and injury updates, and they'll take a look at what free agents the Patriots may target. Get all you need to know tonight, right after the postgame.
Gregory Campbell and Tyler Johnson on the faceoff. Johnson has extended his point streak to 3 consecutive games, now with 2 goals and 1 assist. As Johnson had an assist on the game-opening goal 27 seconds into the second period. Palat scoring shorthanded. J.T. Brown on the faceoff. Campbell wins it. Thornton. Panik intercepts on the boards. Bartkowski plays the body, and Thornton retrieves the puck. Thornton uses the net to pick off Johnson. Bartkowski has Paille on his left. Campbell ahead on the right. Paille wobbles it cross corner. Eric Brewer back after it. Campbell hunts the puck. Paille puts the body on Brewer, but Brewer gets it to the near side to Johnson. Johnson has trouble with Bartkowski. Paille gets it to the line. Thornton stops his progress there. Barberio gives it away center circle to Boychuk. He bounces it off the dasher, and the Bruins get a full change. Or at least they're in the process of it, with Paille pressuring the puck and keeping it in the attacking zone. Bergeron swivels it around. Here's Paille. Paille nudges it toward the front. Brewer blocks it with a skate. Paille tries the other direction. Too many layers for Tampa Bay. Nate Thompson to Callahan. Paille can't get past Hamilton. The quick turn from Riley Smith. He's got Marchand on the right. Marchand has trouble from Carl. Gets the shot off anyway. Carl deflects it to the corner. Thompson against Bergeron. Smith bumps Thompson. J.T. Brown trips down over the leg of Marchand. Or rather, it's Koska. He bounces it in front of his own goal. Callahan rescues it for Tampa Bay. Now he goes 1 against 4. Bergeron cuts him off, and the puck deflects up over the low glass and out of play with 6:01 to go in the game.
Well, last 2, 3, 4 shifts by Boston, Jack. Some nice offensive zone pressure, some good forechecking. The minute they cross that red line, they're looking to get the pucks in behind the Tampa defense, and that's how you play. Late in the hockey game, one of the reasons the Bruins are a real good third-period team, conditioning and the fact that they like to roll 4 lines, all 60. And that's the way they want to finish this third period here with 6 minutes to go.
Boston plus 35 in the third period. Here's Eriksson with Kelly. It is the biggest goal differential of any team in any period in the NHL this season. Stamkos tries to redirect Killorn's short feed. Kelly with the quick turn, and the Bruins look to advance it up the ice. Soderberg to Boychuk. He drives it off the skates of Ollie. It rolls around to Soderberg in the left wing corner. He absorbs the hit from Hedman, protects the puck. Kelly tries to swim around Ollie, got the loose hand on him, no holding call. Soderberg out of the corner for Eriksson, loose in the crease, and Bishop covers. 5:20 to go in the game. 3-3 third period in Tampa Bay. When the game resumes, it's winning time. Audi Performance Play brought to you by your local New England Audi dealers. Experience Audi Quattro all-wheel drive today.
Beautiful finish. Carl Soderberg jumped to open space in the neutral zone behind the Tampa defense, but it was Chris Kelly that made the play. Kelly on the back pressure creates the steal, turns defense into offense with a quick pass through the neutral zone, and Soderberg very calm. Breakaway, pull it to the back end, didn't panic. He knew he wanted to go 5-hole the minute he started to go back in. Sometimes you want to hang on to that puck, use it for leverage, go up top, but he had the opening and he took it.
Callahan takes Carl's feet out. Miller puts the body on Filppula and rattles him. Lucic saucers the pass tape to Iginla. Iginla reaches the red line, bounces it past Bishop's reach. Salo pries it up in the other direction. Puck off the glass. Chara will wait for it to get to the neutral zone to drag it away from Filppula. Krug backs into the Boston zone. Lucic on the swivel. Now Chara turns it forward. Gets the puck knocked off his stick as Filppula checks it. Callahan intercepts inside the Tampa Bay line. Palat looks for a little bit of space. The Bruins drop back into the neutral zone. Palat off the end boards. Tampa Bay changes out. Chara paired with Hamilton. 4.5 to go in the game. Bergeron and Riley Smith on the right. Hamilton on the left. Smith taps to Bergeron. He gains the line. Self pass around Brewer. Draws Hedman. Fires it on Bishop. Smith got a shot at the pop-up rebound, but it settles in Ben Bishop's glove.
Well, early in the period, Claude Julien put Denny Pye on the right side on this line, trying to get his young players' attention, and Riley Smith try to get him a little bit more engaged in this hockey game. Now he's back where he's played the majority of the season. Nice little exchange with Patrice Bergeron, and again, Jack, the Bruins trying to make plays and making plays in the offensive zone and spending very little time in their end.
Hedman off glass. Dougie Hamilton has to make a tough play. Killorn gets through him. The shot saved by Rask. Hamilton to the near side. Smith ahead to Marchand. He's got Bergeron on the diagonal cutting in front of him. Marchand makes the safe play to get it in deep. Bergeron locks up with Brewer. Marchand back to Hamilton. The drive tipped around the post. Marchand gives it corner. Bergeron through Chara back to the center circle. Hamilton through the seam to Marchand. Quick forehand, backhand to Smith, closing. Smith shoots, saved the rebound. Marchand blocked by Hedman, getting back to get his leg in front of the shot.
That changed by the Lightning. Killorn going off right when Riley Smith was coming right through his lane.
Bergeron, Miller wrists it to the left wing corner. Marchand to Thornton, the shot saved by Bishop. Rebound out the other side. J.T. Brown quick to the puck, bounces it to the line. Miller keeps it on the paint, and it's onside. It bounces over Bishop's stick. Thornton tries to wheel it middle. It hits Hedman. Comes back to Thornton on the end boards against Brown. Now Paille against Panik on the far side. Brewer and Thornton muck for the puck. Panik against Miller. Campbell on the rotation. Throws it middle. Thornton got the shaft of the stick on the puck. Johnson against Thornton on the boards. Hedman over to help out for Tampa Bay. 3 Lightning, 2 Bruins there. Krug bodies the puck down. Campbell on the boards. The Bruins winning a lot of puck battles. Krug fishes it out. Tries to send it through all the skates along the kick plate, and Tampa Bay clears the zone. Thornton, hard cross corner. Both teams need a change. 2.5 to go in what has been a really entertaining game in Tampa Bay tonight. Let's go Bruins, the chant from the Boston fans in the crowd. Palat over the line. Boychuk ahead for Eriksson. He's got Soderberg on his left. Soderberg flying up ice, goes against Carl, throws it into space. Kelly there. Kelly can't reach it, gets it back to Boychuk. Boychuk to Kelly coming out high. His drive hits Eriksson. The backhand saved by Bishop outside his crease. Soderberg in the corner working against the big man Salo. Filppula takes a cross ice pass. Palat going up ice. Kelly reaches back to mule kick it back to the Tampa Bay zone with less than 2 to go. Koska wobbles the puck to Chara's corner. Chara around to Krejci. The short pass to Iginla. 2-on-2 with Lucic. A dart to Lucic. His stick on the left wing. Koska keeps him wide. Iginla holds the puck. Hedman plays Iginla. Lucic finds Chara intentionally wide, wristing it so Krejci might be able to skate onto it. Lucic pops it away from Purcell. Tips back to Chara. Chara up the boards. It caroms past Krejci. Now Hedman back with his own goal. Around the boards. Puck comes off Filppula to Killorn. Killorn into Purcell's skates. Minute 15 to go. Purcell over the center dot. Gives it away to Kevin Miller. The stick check on Miller, but Miller gets it to Chara. Around through the corner to Lucic. 1:05 left in the game. Lucic pulls past Salo. Gives to Krejci. Krejci uses time and space. Gives to Chara. He walks in all the way to the goal line. Chara around Salo. Rifles it back to Lucic. Rather to Boychuk. Bouncing puck. And now the outlet. Stamkos to Tyler Johnson, and Boychuk sweeps it away. Then pummels Johnson in the corner. Johnny Boychuk with an outstanding defensive play in the final minute. Smith can't get it all the way through to Marchand up the boards. Johnny Boychuk with a tying goal and a huge check in the final minute of play here. Hand pass and the play is dead.
Boychuk just doing the job defensively after tying this game on a slap shot. The Bruins have spent the majority of this third period going in the north direction, spending a lot of time in the offensive zone. The few times they've been back in their own end, they've made the defensive plays. And Boychuk makes one right here. Good angle on Johnson. Johnson's a pretty quick skater. But Boychuk took the angle and the stick position and then finished his check.
Less than half a minute to go in this one, a center dot face-off resulting from the hand pass. Filppula and Bergeron. Bergeron wins it, flipping it back to Kevin Miller. Tries to go indirect. Palat knocks it around Miller. Miller reaches back. Bergeron is there, and Bartkowski was the third layer. 15 seconds to go. Bergeron long indirect for Smith. Wing to Marchand against Hedman. The shot saved. Bishop loose puck. Filppula is on it with less than 10 seconds to go in the game. Hedman up the boards. Bartkowski spins it middle. It bounces away from Palat. It's a point apiece. And they'll go to sudden death overtime to settle it.
It sure seems like, coming out of the Olympic break, and when you get into this final 4 or 5 weeks of the season, you get a lot of three-point games, and that's what you got here tonight. Points are at such a premium, but you got to like the way the Bruins played here in the third period, Jack. Down 3-2, a defensive zone mistake that gave the Lightning the 3-2 lead, but the Bruins came to play here in the third period.
Will Claude Julien go with 3 forwards and 1 defenseman? It's been a successful formula. Sudden death after this. Save of the game brought to you by Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? First period, Tuukka Rask denies Richard Panik. Rask has faced only 18 shots tonight. Consider that Tampa Bay had a 7 shots to 0 lead at one point in this game. The Bruins have raised their game all 200 feet.
How many shots did Washington have in that 3-0 win? Right around that.
Yeah, not a whole lot. Let me go back through my scorebook so I make sure I get it right. 16. You saw the graphic. Since I got blown up on Twitter for mentioning something that ended up being a jinx a couple of weeks ago, I'm not touching that one. That one's totally on senior associate producer Patrick White. Louis Eriksson in front looking for Soderberg. Soderberg, Kelly, Eriksson, and Chara. 3 forwards and 1 defenseman. Eriksson tries to swivel it past Brewer. Brewer nudges it forward for Filppula, but Kelly's right on him. Bruins change out a couple of skaters. Now Chara dumps in, and he and Soderberg go off. Iginla and Lucic with Krejci. The Krejci line plus Boychuk out there right now. Stamkos, the self-pass around Krejci, closes Krejci from the back, Boychuk from the front, and the puck never gets to Rask. Boychuk up off the glass for Lucic, 3-on-2 off ice. Krejci gives it ahead of Iginla. It's off the boards and Sauer controls. Sauer gives it away to Krejci, in front for Iginla. Iginla off the legs of Hedman. Now Stamkos, 1-on-1 against Boychuk. Steven Stamkos holds, fires it across the middle, and bounces off Hedman's stick to the corner. This one ricochets past the post and around the near side. Lucic. Stamkos shoves him off balance, but Lucic maintains the edge. Here's Iginla, the shot save, rebound just past Lucic's forehand. Krug fires it to space. Iginla changing out. Hedman nudges the puck away from Krejci, and the Bruins will complete the change.
Stamkos did a lot of skating on that shift, and he couldn't win the physical battle with Lucic, and that led to the Iginla opportunity.
Now it's the Bergeron line with Smith and Marchand and Krug out there, an attack-minded defenseman. Let's go Bruins. Or let's go Lightning. Here's Marchand with a giveaway from Koskinen. A save by Bishop. Marchand breaks his stick. He's got to go get new lumber. Here comes Alex Killorn on the off wing against Krug. The left shot on the right side. Sets up, sends it down for Johnson. Johnson one-hands it. Tries to shield the puck, but Bergeron takes it away. Sprints up ice with Marchand. Gets the pass from Marchand. Bergeron loops it for Marchand. Back to Bergeron, the one-timer off the leg. He snaps his stick. That's 2-on-1 shift for this line. Marchand, who has the new stick, is out there chasing Killorn right now. Almost halfway through the sudden death period. Couple of chances for Boston. Filppula over the Lightning logo at center ice. Tries to body off Eriksson, gets it back. Filppula dangles around, gives it ahead to Barberio. The shot saved by Rask. Barberio with the backhand, but the Bruins have 3-on-2 up ice. It's Kelly with Eriksson and Soderberg working against Hedman on that side. Soderberg to the middle, goes through Palat, stick check. The shot goes off Hedman's legs. Hedman brings the backhand up the boards. Kelly attacks the puck, but it swings right to Palat. Kelly checks him and the puck loose to Bartkowski with less than 2 minutes to go.
Just enough body contact by Kelly to slow down Palat and allow Bartkowski to pick up the puck.
Milan Lucic signaling to Matt Bartkowski to wait for the change. It's the Krejci line again. Krejci to Iginla. The shot saved by Bishop, and he clamps down to take the defensive zone faceoff with 1:43 to go in overtime.
Well, the Bruins have been the better team in OT, but Steven Stamkos had an opportunity. It looked like David Krejci was going to get beat to the net with an explosive Stamkos, but he reached behind him, lifted his stick. Boychuk came sliding across. The Bruins in the opposite direction. A chance for Marchand after the steal. Barberio got a goal tonight. He tried to sneak one on the backhand. Good thing he wasn't a right-hand shot.
Iginla off Pyatt. The puck dies to the dot. Iginla with great effort to keep it alive. Krejci down to the corner to Iginla. Iginla closes, loops it for Lucic. He fans. Chara wrists it around through the corner. Iginla battling against Salo. Two really strong players along the wall. Lucic finds the puck. Lucic turns through the seam, but fighting through Callahan and Brewer. Has to come back to the neutral zone. The quick turn, he gets around Callahan, gains the line. Here's Krejci, back to Chara, the bomb right into Callahan. A brave block. He sends Stamkos ahead. Iginla is back. Stamkos, the shot, saved by Rask. 1 minute to go in overtime in what has been a great game in Tampa Bay, despite the ice tonight. Krejci. Serpentine route, crisscross behind Lucic. The shot just trying to get a rebound, and Bishop allows none. Then Bishop jabs at Lucic. Lucic responds. Bishop jabs back at him.
Pretty good action here in the overtime session. Both teams really, when they've had opportunities to attack, they have not hesitated. Shot blocked by Ryan Callahan leads to this opportunity by Stamkos. That's Iginla, and that's not early in the shift. Great effort to get back and not allow Stamkos a clean lane to the net.
Bergeron and Pyatt on the face-off, less than a minute to go in OT. Carl taps to Hedman. Hedman reverses. Carl protects the puck, can't clear the zone. Smith, high slot looking for Marchand, but Pyatt was on him. Carl overskates the puck as it sticks to the ice. Bergeron has it, he's got Marchand middle. Cuts, fires it off Carl's skate. Marchand to Boychuk, the one-timer off a stick, and it hits the high glass with 20 seconds to go. Johnson intercepted Marchand. Hedman off Marchand's glove. It dies at the center dot. 10 seconds to go. Last chance. Marchand to Bergeron. The puck explodes on his forehand. Bergeron rides it to the boards. Marchand. 2 seconds to go. Stamkos will run out of time. Too bad. They're going to have to settle it with a shootout.
It really is too bad. What a hockey game. What a third period by Boston. What an entertaining overtime 5 minutes. Both teams with opportunities and good ones.
We'll be back to see who gets the bonus point right after this. Bruins got off to a very sluggish start. They have not led all night, but they've had plenty of fight.
Yeah, the execution not there for Boston. Even when they had a power play early in the hockey game, couldn't even generate a shot on goal for about 8 minutes. Palat, a beautiful shorthanded goal early in the second period. Barberio with a drive from the point. That puck may have changed directions. They took a look at it, but they counted it. And then Danny Paille started the Bruins' road back with a great individual effort after a nice pass by Gregory Campbell through the neutral zone. Chris Kelly finds Soderberg. Breakaway backhand finish through the legs, and the Bruins were in real good shape. But shortly after that, a defensive zone breakdown off a face-off. Missed assignments. Filppula taking the feed from Palat, 3-2. And then in the third period, the Bruins' best period all year long, Louis Eriksson with a smart play to allow Kelly to get down in on the forecheck. Soderberg's going to follow up on the opposite side. And an absolute bomb on the feed from Soderberg by Johnny Boychuk. 3-3, and that's where we stand.
Well, we've received an email from the Situation Room of the National Hockey League explaining the call in the third period. And here's how it reads. At 6:05 of the third period, the Situation Room initiated video review because the puck had entered the Tampa Bay net, which they do on every single goal. The referee informed the Situation Room that he had lost sight of the puck and was in the process of blowing his whistle to stop play before it crossed the Tampa Bay goal line. This is not a reviewable play. Therefore, the referee's call on the ice stands no goal, Boston.
Yeah, and that was your explanation, too, when they were having a discussion at ice level. And from those replays, obviously from our angle and not the referee's angle, that puck was still very much in play, not tied up by Bishop at all. And even though the Bruins felt like they tied the hockey game on the power play by Bergeron jamming it home, because he was in the process, the referee blowing the whistle, we call it dead in the head. No goal Boston, but the Bruins still find a way to at least take a point out of this game, and with a better team in the third period. And even though Tampa had some opportunities in the overtime, I thought Boston was better than Tampa in the OT as well, Jack.
We have the shooters for the 3 rounds of the shootout. Filppula, Stamkos, and Palat. Tampa Bay has elected to shoot first. Filppula on Rask. Deeks and Rask stops him. Filppula unable to elevate the backhand.
He likes the backhand. He likes the leverage. He likes the unpredictability of it. He carries this puck out in front of him, Jack. And what does that tell Rask? It's got to be a deke. It's never in a shooting position.
Patrice Bergeron, the first of Boston's shooters. Eriksson and Soderberg to follow. Bergeron almost always carries it on his hip. Swivels around. There it is on the hip. He dinks. And Bishop blocks the stuff attempt.
Bergeron needs to go up top with that if he can. If he has enough leverage, Bishop's just too big. Even though he commits to the fake shot, he's just too big. He's going to take away the bottom half of the net with those pads and his size.
The return of the hero, Steven Stamkos. We'll let you and the crowd look at this one. No call necessary. Tuukka Rask refusing to bite.
Patience, absolute patience right here by Tuukka Rask. The slow down move, the multiple fakes. Try to get Rask to open up the 5-hole. Good stick position by Tuukka Rask. Denies Stamkos.
Louis Eriksson against Ben Bishop. Eriksson cuts in and Bishop gets the huge body on it.
Well, Eriksson's going to come on the offside like most players generally like to do, and then cut towards that slot area. Try to go high blocker.
Andre Palat with a goal and an assist. The scoring leader for Tampa Bay tonight. Fires and Rask makes the blocker save. Calm as ever. So Carl Soderberg can win it for the Bruins.
Once again, Tuukka Rask perfectly positioned. Not much to look at if you pull out. What a nice situation to be in right here. A chance to win it, and Soderberg's been real good tonight.
Carl Soderberg coming into his own for the Boston Bruins since the switch to center. Closes on Bishop. Deeks, and Bishop denies him. It'll go to extra shots, 1 round at a time.
Soderberg tried to make that quick move and elevate. Quick backhand to forehand, and then go up top before Bishop can get across. Couldn't finish.
The new guy. No way to endear yourself to new teammates than perhaps to win a game. And Ryan Callahan closes. Rask makes the save. 4 for 4 for Tuukka Rask.
Now, subtle little misdirection type shot here by Callahan. You're going to sell glove side, go back blocker side. It looked like Rask got it actually with the butt end of the stick, but I'm not sure it was going to be on net.
Brad Marchand. A chance to put it away for Boston. Glove saved by Bishop. It went off the tip of the webbing. To the 5th round we go.
Well, the Bruins are trying a variety of things against Ben Bishop. Bergeron tried to go forehand on a deke. Eriksson tried to go high blocker. Soderberg tried to go high blocker. Marchand tried to go high glove, but Bishop got a piece.
The UMaine product, Teddy Purcell on Rask. Saved by Rask.
Looked like Purcell wanted to go 5-hole. Don't think he put it where he wanted to because that just thuds right off the pad. Yeah, he was looking 5-hole. Tuukka with another nice move.
Jerome McGinley. Straight up the middle. Can't get it under the bar. It goes to a 6th round.
Well, McGinley with that puck in a shooting position. Kept taking it closer and closer and closer to the net. Try to get Bishop deep. Try to go up over the glove.
Victor Hedman, the defenseman, with the huge reach. Closes on Rask. Takes it. Oh, Rask outguesses him. The huge reach, often helpful in drawing the puck across the goal mouth on a deke, but Tuukka Rask with a poke check.
Well, for the older Bruin fans, this is a Jerry Chivas move right here, baby. Blitz him. Blitz him.
Where's the stitchy mask? David Krejci. Slowly. Holds Deeks and Bishop denies him.
Such a big body in that net. Bruins are looking for openings, trying to create openings. David Krejci head up the whole way. That little stutter step pump fake, trying to get Bishop to move first. Pretty good job of holding his ground.
Richard Panik scores. No, it hit the post. I thought it was in and out, but it was off the iron and out.
Pretty good quick release here, glove side. That's a nice shot, and the Bruins catch a break.
Well, that's hockey gods, considering how many posts and bends in the pipe. Riley Smith, 11 consecutive games without scoring a goal in the run of play. What a way to get himself out of a goal-scoring slump.
And not just that, this is a confidence builder if you can bury one here.
Smith against Bishop. The head fake. Oh, he scores! Oh, he dangled! And the Bruins, who did not lead all night long, have a victory after being 2 down for the first time this year.
At first blush, it looked like he lost the puck. This was not the move he intended to make. But it works in his favor, and sometimes a little bit of a mishandle kind of throws the goaltender's timing off. You try to pull it out to the backhand, maybe go a backhand shelf. The puck stays behind him right there, and that adds one more wrinkle to it, and it opens up the far side.
We used to joke that Kessel never knew what he was going to do until he had to shoot. Sometimes it works that way, huh? Maybe that is a huge confidence builder to get Riley Smith off the schneid.
No doubt about it. And, you know, the coaching staff, they know he's a young man. He's having a terrific year. But that confidence pendulum can swing in different directions pretty hard, pretty quick. And this is a guy that's in search of his game right now. And maybe that goal gets him going in the right direction.
Dale, it's a clean sweep for the Bruins. 3-1, 5-0, 3-0, and finally in the 4th game of this season series, a 4-3 shootout victory.
The way that the shootout works, but you can't deny the excitement that we saw in that one as the Bruins beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. Coming up on Ace Ticket Bruins Overtime Live, we'll get reaction from a victorious Bruins dressing room. Head coach Claude Julien will go one-on-one with Jamie Erdahl, and we'll preview tomorrow night's game in Sunrise against the Florida Panthers. Ace Ticket Bruins Overtime Live is coming right up.